this episode, we look to remove and restore the side rails and the Playfield hinges. Hope you can pick up a couple of tips and learn from some of my mistakes along the way. So now that the bottom of the Playfield is done on the other side, the only thing I need to really do is take off from the old Playfield is remove these hinges that are used to keep the Playfield in place, and the side rails. Now the side rails are not in great shape. The veneer that's on top of it is peeling off a couple of places. I'm going to remove these, and just rather than replace the veneer, I'm actually going to see if I just paint them black, how they go. So just going to remove those very quickly. So I've given these a good wipe down now with methylated spirits and a cloth. They're nice and clean. Before I put these back on to the new Playfield, I need to do the side rails, because the side rail screws, some of them are blocked by the hinges. So I'm going to take these off the side rails and then get stuck into seeing what I need to do with painting them. So proper screws. So you can see some of it's painted, some of it's a veneer. So this is glued on. I'm going to see if I can get this off. It just peels off. And I'm going to sand these down and paint them, rather than reapplying the veneer. I don't know why they wouldn't just paint them in the first place. There's probably a good reason, but I don't know what that is. So I'm going to get this off. On this side there's two, because there's obviously the split in the middle, so just take those off, and I'll show you how I clean it up and see how it comes out when I've just painted them, see if that works. Okay, so you can see that these are in pretty rough shape. You can see this black sort of veneer, and hopefully I can just peel it off nicely, but there's some areas where it's a bit stickier than others, so I'm going to try something here. If I heat it up, does it come out off any easier? It does actually. So literally very, very quickly, just very, very light blow, and it just comes off very quickly. It seems to loosen up the glue, which otherwise is very tight. Just to get it up to be a little bit warmer, because I just don't want to damage the wood by the glue pulling off bits of the wood. So by heating it up, you break the bond with the glue, and it just comes off much easier. Obviously, look at that, it just comes off beautifully. So it's still got quite a bit of glue on it, which we'll have to remove. If you heat it up a little bit, it comes off without damaging or pulling up the wood at all. So that's a really quick and easy way of getting the wood up, the glue up. So there's a bit where the glue's actually damaged it, but fortunately it's a pretty basic piece of wood. If I had to remake it, but you know, it's another couple of hours to get the notches right, and so I'm going to have a look and see what I can do to try to get this glue off. But let me go and get the rest of these off same way. So I'm continuing to work through this, but the application of the heat's really working well. It's got to get that fine line between melting the plastic, but you can see how easily that comes off, leaving the wood very much intact. So that really is a bit of a win. I mean, getting started is a bit of a trick, but I've got one of these little spatulas, and then just run it through. It breaks the contact adhesive. So you can see the difference on the bits that I've heated and the bits that I haven't. It really is much harder to get off. So just want to do lots of passes, and then it literally just peels off. No scraping, no damage. That's actually paint. So that's the second one. Just give it a good. And it's not too hot that you can't hold it, but I just think the fact that it's above sort of room temperature results in the compound and the glue just breaking down. Beautiful. So now the next thing is how to get this glue off, because there's a whole lot of gunk and glue. I'm going to try just using methylated spirits on a rag. Let's see if that works, otherwise I'll have to get some sort of Goo Gone types. Because if you just sand this, all it's going to do is clog up your sanding paper. That doesn't work so well. The methylated spirits is working okay. I tried isopropyl alcohol, it's okay, it's still not great, but I thought given that the blowtorch worked on getting this off, that it may also help. So I've tried to use this a little bit, and it really does soften off. You can see it softens up the glue nicely and gets off a large amount of it. So I'm going to start do that. It just reduces dramatically the amount of glue that I need. Really am trying to avoid using this stuff. It's good, this is really good, but it is toxic. And it's just not that nice to work with. If I can avoid doing it, I really will. This stuff's great for removing adhesive on stickers and decals and things. That's what I've got it for. But for this kind of larger job, if I can avoid using it, I'm going to. But you see, this with a bit of heat, it all just comes off, just scrapes off. Okay, so I've got most of the glue off. There's still a couple of patches, but most of it off with heating it up, scraping it off, and then rubbing it with some methylated spirits on a cloth. So I now have just a sander with, what have I got on here? 120 grits. So it's quite fine. And you can see already that it's getting a bit clogged. Imagine how clogged it would be if we hadn't cleaned up all that glue. that's buggered. Maybe the answer is to start with some higher grit on this, but you really want to get all the glue off, otherwise your paint is not gonna stick. So that's it. That's as good as it's gonna get. I'll go and do the rest now. Okay, so quite a bit of sanding later. It took me about half an hour. These are all good. In hindsight, you want to start with a higher grit, probably an 80 grit, work your way up. I thought I could get away with it. So one of these little joints has come loose. I'll just put a bit of cold glue in there. You know, making these from scratch doesn't seem so much of a time difference, to be honest, compared to stripping them, the glue, all of that stuff. So yeah, if I did this again, I might actually just go and get some decent wood and make these up. But that's it for now. I'm going to give them a coat of black paint and then hopefully we're done. So the rails are back. I painted those up after getting all the glue off of them. They look great. So they're going to go in. Here are the two for that side. So I'm going to put those in and the game's going to start to come together. So I'm going to put it in about 80% of the way using the screwdriver. And then I'll finish it off the last bit by hand. So you can see. Just left a little bit out. Wanting to make sure that the lining up, this is all lined up as well. Then we just finish it off with a screwdriver that we can control and really feel how hard it. Okay, that is on. Side rail looking fantastic. A little bit of sheen to it. Nothing, not high gloss. We'll go and do the other two on the other side. Okay, so we've got the side rails on, and so we're just going to put the hinges on now. They go with the springy bit at the top because that's what locks in to the bracket on the cabinet. And this metal lip goes on the inside, so this smooth bit is on the outside. So you need 2 machine screws and 3 wood screws for this. So I just do the machine screws first, and they go into the T-nuts that we've already put in. I'll start with the one at the top because I know that's for sure where the T-nut goes, and then all the other holes will align. Okay, so I'll do the machine screws first. And then we have 3 wood screws which just go in, and these I just start off with the power screwdriver. Now you'll notice that there's actually, along the bracket, there's I think 4 or 5 holes, 5 holes in fact. There's only 3 with pilot holes in the wood, and there's only 3 screws, so you just need to pick those. These are obviously generic brackets, and depending on the game, the holes are in different places. So once I've got them virtually in, I'll go and hand tighten to finish it off. The hinges were the last thing on the back of the playfield that were going to go in. Couldn't put those in until I had the rails done. Those have been repainted. It's a bit of a domino effect. You just need to get things in the right order. Now I'm going to move on to the rest of the top of the playfield, get in the slingshots and the bull guides and the lats starting at the bottom, working my way up. That's it for episode 15, halfway mark in this 30 episode series. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you didn't, well, hit the thumbs down. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, where we look at slingshots.